Hi there, it's Carl Irwin, the Common Magician, and I've got something interesting to show you. I've got some dice here. I've also got a deck of cards, and we're going to try a bit of an experiment in probability. So we're going to test some odds here. First, we'll give the cards just a little bit of a mix, and we'll then try some tests here of probability with the dice. Now it's important to understand these are regular dice, and you can see that if you roll them, you get a different outcome every time, right? So we got 2 6s and a 1. Here we get 5, 3, and 1. So what is this? If we add these up, we get what? 9. 9 is our outcome. So we can go with that, or we can roll again. It doesn't matter. If you want to roll again, we can make a choice. We have here, what is this? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 9 or 11. Which one would you like? It doesn't matter. Would you like 9 or 11? 11? 11 is what you want? You sure? Because you can change your mind. Fine. Okay, 11. What we'll do is I'm just going to give the deck a shuffle, and we'll see what we find given those odds. Okay, shuffle deck, random deck. Don't really know the order of anything. Random roll. Your choice, by the way. Give this a cut. So if we take this number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, what value would that be in the deck? Could have rolled anything, right? We had quite a few options in there, and we have 13 values in the deck. So the 11th value is the jack, right? Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jack would be 11. Now what's fascinating here is I want to show you what has happened. If you recall back what you've just watched, we took the cards out, gave them a shuffle, rolled. You made a decision, right? You chose this number. You could have had another number. Could have rolled again, could have done something else. If we take a look through the deck for the jacks, we see a completely shuffled mess. And not a single jack in sight, not a one. You will note that you could have gone with 9. I gave you a choice, right? You could have rolled if you wanted to again. But we have 9s in here. Here's a 9. Here's a 9. There's a 9. All the 9s are in here. In fact, every single value is in here except for the jack. Now just remember the order of operations in the events here. Take a look in the box. If we open up the box, we see 4 cards. Jack, 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 nothing else. So, what is this? This is just an application of what we've been talking about, right? This is the 3 dice probability force. It's not really a force, it's just an investment in probability that comes out of Annemann. Now in Annemann, he talks about this forcing the 10 or the 11. Really, you're forcing 11, but you can force 10, or at least arrive at 10 randomly, and that would then be able to be applied to the outcome of 11 being 1 short, particularly if you were like dealing down to a position or looking for a page in a book or something like that. So 10 is an out for 11, but 11 is the out. And he claims within 2 or 3 rolls, right, you'll hit this by the probability. That's not really what the probability is, because you really only have about 1 chance in 4 that you're going to hit one of those 2. However, if you incorporate 9, 10, 11, and 12, if you run the 4 central options there in a set of 3 dice, the probability is actually about 48% that you will hit one of those in any one roll. If you roll, it's nearly 50% that you're going to get a 9, 10, 11, or 12. Nearly 50%. You can see here if I roll, I get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. right? There's my 11. So 50% is pretty good if you incorporate 4 outs. And that's what we're doing here. This is not only an investment in probability with regular dice, by the way, but it's also an investment in outs, 4 possible outs. So this is a simple setup. What I had was the following cards partitioned out. I had queens, 10s, 9s, and I had the jacks. So here's my 9s, here's my 4 queens, and here are the 4 10s. And then what I did is I had the 9s on the top. Halfway through, I had the 10s. Then I had a key card. This is a double thick key card. And then I had the queens on the bottom. So I have access to the 9s, the 10s, and the queens. And then what I did is I placed the jacks into the box, which is the one that has the higher probability, right? The 10s or the jacks, not by much. It's only by like a couple of potential rolls and 3 dice that you arrive at those 2. I placed the cards into the box, and what I did here, just a kind of a detail, right? When doing this with a regular box, I took the wings and I pushed the wings in. Then I put the cards in over top of the wings, and then I take the jacks and I place those on top of everything, but I place the flap underneath the jacks. So what I have here is on the Copag Elite box, it's not a very big lip. I actually have access to those jacks. When I pick up the box, I can put my thumbnail on the jacks, and I can open up the lid underneath, and I actually have complete control over the jacks as I dump the cards out. So I don't have to thumb up. It puts me into kind of that box shift sort of situation, just by virtue of having the jacks partitioned out in front of the flap. So that was my setup. I have the dice here. I just make a point of them being there. I pick up the cards. I hold off the jacks, open up the lid. I make sure to grab all of the cards. I pull all of the cards out, and then I close up the box over top of the jacks this time and set it down. And now I'm set. I can roll, and I just need to get to a 9, a 10, 11, or 12. Now, it just so happened that when I rolled the first time, I got a 9. Here, I got an 11, which is the out for the box, right? Now, if I rolled one time, I could just take that and say, now you'll note that if I roll these again, it's important that you take what you get off of a roll. You can't just take what's sitting there. So you have to roll, and whatever you roll, you can work with. Here I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this doesn't work. This is outside of my capability, right? This is 13. I need 9, 10, 11, or 12. So I roll them, and this is when I would say, and you'll note that they change every time that you roll. It's not always the same thing. Now I've got a situation where I have my 10. So my out for 10 is in the middle of the deck. Now, one subtlety I forgot to mention is I did take the cards, I dropped off the top stock, which is the 9s, and then I thumb off, in jog 1, thumb off a few, and then drop on top, not yet getting to my key card. I pick up, pushing up at the out jog, lifting up at the in jog, and then I shuffle off those few cards and then throw back on top. So I haven't changed the order of the, I have changed the order of some of the cards, but not my stack. My 9s are still on top, my 10s are still in the middle, my queens are at the bottom. If I were to cut the deck, say to shuffle, I would cut at my key card with my 10s right there. So I know I can protect them in the shuffle, or I can protect the 9s, or I can protect the queens, but I can shuffle the rest, the ones I don't need. So here I'm left in my situation with my 10. If I want to shoot for 10, what I need to do is get to the key card cards. And this is very simple. I would just cut, take the top off to the right, and then I'm going to shuffle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle my top card 9s into my bottom card queens, and I'm going to destroy their stack. but I'm going to shuffle short to maintain the tens, right? Then I'm going to square this up. I can cut to the right and I can shuffle again holding back the top stock tens, right? And I can close that up together. And now because I have a key card sitting on top, I can actually cut. I might cut a third, then cut another third and cut another one. Now what I need to do is I need to get my tens into a range. I could spread if my key card was not, in this case my key card is actually the guarantee card. If it was just a regular card, my double thick card, I could spread and show that I shuffled the tens together in the center. That would be one way to do this. You can see here's my tens, and everything else is shuffled. So that's a good display, right? You could do that. In this case, I could then instead just cut my key card to the bottom. So I pick up and I can riffle down with my thumb, key card jumps to the bottom, and then I cut, and now I'm ready to display any way that I want. I can cut out the tens, right? I could do some kind of ace or 10 four of a kind cutting routine, or if I want to just get to the point, I can just show all 4 tens on the top, and then I can spread on the bottom, and you can see that everything is in disarray, right? So that is one display. Of course, the other ones, we'll go through them very quickly. So here's my tens. You already saw the jacks because that was the example. Let's get my queens out. And then my nines. So for the queens of the nines, it's really the exact same procedure. It's just reversed. It's just the opposite side of the deck that you are contending with. Nines are on the top. Tens are in the middle with the key card on top. Queens are on the bottom. Let's say that this was a, I don't know, a 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here's 9. My nines are on the top. What I would do is I would remove the top. I might take off at the key card. So here are my tens and here's my queens. And I would merely just shuffle this packet into this one. So I have indifferent cards on the bottom of this packet, but I've got my nines on the top. I just want to make sure I hold back the top stock, the top 4 or 5 or 6 cards on the top, but shuffle everything else into it. And if I do that, I end up splitting up my tens and queens, right? So I can do this again if I take off to the right, and again, shuffle everything in to the top, to this packet, but maintain the top stock. Now I'm free to do the same kind of revelation again. I could just do some kind of a false cut, and then I could display my nines shuffled to the top, and then I can show all the cards, and you see everything is in disarray. Nothing is together. There's nothing there might even be a couple. There's a couple tens together, a couple queens together, but nobody knows what the potential was. This is completely disarming, right? Never mind the jacks aren't in here. It really doesn't matter. Of course, you know the jacks, and the queens is just the opposite. Let's assume that these are the queens and they're at the bottom. What I would do is I would lift at my key again. I would drop my bed of queens, and then I would shuffle fairly the rest. Then I would do the same thing again. I would drop my bed of queens, and then I would shuffle fairly the rest. And then again, you could do some kind of a false cut. And then I can do a revelation from the bottom. I can turn over and show those, spread, and you can see that everything else is in disarray. So those are the 4 possible outs, weighing in on the potential for 4 outs from these dice in probability, 9, 10, 11, or 12. And all of them look like they were meant to be, like I really did what I say I'm doing. Like I really found a 4 of a kind from the deck just by shuffling just a couple times in a cut, or magically transferring a completely random, freely selected value to the box. So there you have it, 4 possible outs, and these are outs that don't depend on, you know, just card at number. You can use these as values and do a production of 4 of a kind. Of course, you could take these outs to a book test or something like that and find a way to apply any one of those numbers really to get to the same page or the same location in the a book. One possibility, because these numbers are quite low, is to have a book that has a blank page, just an open blank leaf right on the beginning that you could count or discard. You could have your out arrive at the actual page number. You could include a blank page, or you could not include the blank page and start counting at the title page, right? You could include a contents page. You could rip out pages, have a special book just for this, so that you have 4 possible outs that end at the exact page every single time. So that's what I have for you. So a couple of possibilities for 4 outs from an investment in probability and 3 dice, a few options for you. So good luck with that. Happy magicking.